how my mom reinvented herself after the age of 40 with one daughter, me.
I never looked at myself as reinventing myself. I look at myself as the same old person.
You lost over 80 pounds after you had me.
Yes.
19 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. I've noticed your workout routines, your diet, your mindset, your level of acceptance, your femininity, like all these things have changed so much over the years. And I feel that you're in like the best place you've been since I was a little girl. And I feel that like one of the biggest things that I noticed about you is that your level of acceptance around like everything has increased exponentially. I don't know if that's like with wisdom of age or I don't know how that works, but I don't know. I just want you to tell everyone how you have this beautiful glowing skin. You guys, she's going to be 49 in a few days. When you watch this, she's already 49, but I mean, you look amazing. Like people like can't believe it. They're like, you don't even know Botox. Like it's just incredible.
Yeah,
so,
no plastic surgery, no Botox.
I know. Now I will tell you to you guys, just as a little hack. I know you already have. She eats tons of plants, like many different kinds of plants, like winter lettuces, different types of mushrooms, lots of squash. Like, wow. Like this girl eats a lot of vegetables.
Microgreens.
Every morning she has this like sprout smoothie. So I know that there's something to the fiber you eat. I know fiber has played a huge
No
role.
phytonutrients.
Phytonutrients.
Yeah, and
if you don't know what that is,
hand.
thank you. Yeah. 'Cause a lot of people are like, what's phytonutrients? We don't learn this stuff in school.
It's a light energy.
So tell us some of your secrets on how you invented yourself.
Well, I really appreciate that acknowledgement. Sometimes it's really hard for us to see ourselves when we're inside of ourselves. So having other people who care about you and love you, reflect back to you your progress means a lot. So I'm like very open-hearted right now and kind of tender, just receiving that because I don't see myself as clearly as you do. It's a huge compliment to receive around the acceptance piece because a lot of the things I've studied in the past, I've always been totally fascinated by theological concepts, religion, and spirituality ever since I was a little girl. And I always loved stories about magic, and I was raised in a very Christian home. My mom was even a pastor. And I really studied theology, like when I moved to New York City. And so the reason why I'm giving you this background is because one of the common threads is about trust, belief, faith, and acceptance. And you find it in the Vedas of the Indian philosophy and ideology, the grammar and doctrine of yoga. You find it in Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, Sufism, Judaism, like all of the isms and Indianities. You find this concept. And so when you are in tune with the universe, then you have this path of least resistance. And I used to believe that we did everything with our will and our discipline. And now I realize that with our tiny little human minds, we don't actually do anything. But the more we can allow, the more we'll be able to see and the less energy it takes. So it's a really big waste of energy for me to resist what is. It doesn't mean that I don't have goals and objectives and dreams and desires. It's just that I'm allowing more of what is to be so that I'm in a path of least resistance. Because that which is for us is going to happen. There's very little we can do about it, actually. I do believe in destiny. And I also believe in free will. And so we do make decisions and choices. And if we do good and we be good, then it will all be good. I do believe that. But you have to know what correct action is. And you have to be willing to be a stand for it. So that's on the acceptance piece. I know that was a big answer.
Well, yeah, that's really important. And also I know that the audience wants to know like how your skin looks so beautiful. I know you could spend an hour talking about it, but I'm going to dodify this right now. Just give us a very like speedy routine of like what a day in the life looks like for you. Food, water, tea, skin brushing, skincare.
Well, I start the morning with brushing my hair, my teeth, my face. in my body. I have different types of brushes for the dry brushing. I use a different one for my face than I do for my torso, than I do for my arms and legs.
Ultimate Skincare Guide down below if you want to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, you get a free Ultimate Skincare Guide that I put together. There's dry brushing, and then I do an oil massage on my face just to kind of, because it feels a little dry in the morning these days. And then sometimes I'll also oil my body, just depending. I usually oil my body.
And you don't start the morning with coffee, but you start it with green tea.
Well, actually, I start the morning with enzymes.
Okay.
I do take systemic enzymes in the morning, and I do drink a lot of water. So first thing is water. Sometimes I put minerals in it. Sometimes I put electrolytes in it. Sometimes I put chlorophyll in it. Sometimes I put lemon in it. Sometimes I put, just different things in it. But sometimes it's just water. And then I'll work out for an hour or so, and then I'll have a tea. Sometimes a matcha tea with collagen and rose. That's what I'm into these days. With some freshly made raw walnut milk, flax milk, almond milk, or some other raw nut or seed that's been sprouted. And then I'll put a few goji berries in there for the phytonutrients. Goji berries have extraordinary properties, and I like to have a few in my tea. That's my matcha. And then I usually go for a walk. I like to get early morning sunshine and get the light of the rising sun in my cells and in my eyes. And for me, that's a time of prayer and breathing and whatnot, just to kind of really tune into the day and get acquainted with the light. And then I'll do some reflection, and I don't journal. I probably should journal at this point in my life.
No, I don't think journaling is a waste of time. You don't have time to journal.
You're funny.
You journal when you talk. She talks a lot. That's fine. Everyone talks a lot.
No, women usually, yeah.
Women talk a lot. Yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah, you talk a lot. I think you journal as you speak. It's fine. You journal. You out loud journal.
I drink organic green tea when I get back. I usually make a small pot, and then I use it like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, this is very, very detailed. I just want like the quick rundown, like for the audience. So like, what do you eat? Foods? Give us like the foods. You eat lots of fiber.
I make a smoothie.
No, don't give us like the exact meals. Just tell us like that you eat a lot of fiber.
Yeah, I eat a ton of phytonutrients. Light-filled foods that give vitality and energy versus foods that take energy away.
You don't eat sugar. You don't eat flour.
I don't eat any sugar. I don't eat any flour.
You don't eat meat. You don't eat
meat.
You do eat dairy now.
Yeah,
you're a vegan.
I do. I strategically eat dairy. So I eat dairy that's fermented and cultured, and from sources that I trust. That I pasteurize and homogenize my own, goat milk for the bacterial production. It's about medicine. I take dairy as medicine.
Well, you take food as medicine. Your whole philosophy. So to really wrap this video up for you guys, for mom, food is medicine. In every way imaginable. So she spends time in sunlight every day. She gardens. We're working on our garden. It needs work. We're working on it.
Yeah,
we're not really working on it, but we should be working.
No, I do. I work on it.
Okay.
I mean, a little bit.
I haven't seen you in there in a while. It's okay. I haven't seen me in there in a while, so I'm calling myself.
You were like, "Where'd that cilantro come from?" And I was like, "Our garden."
That's the only plant that survived, you guys. We planted that together.
We have oregano, we have sage, we have thyme.
Anyway, we're not going to get into that right now because we don't have time.
Yeah.
For it. But anyway.
Well, I think the video really is about reinvention. And I think that every woman, after you have children, you develop a new identity. And I remember going to my gynecologist or my OBGYN. And when I was in Switzerland, I was pregnant with you. And he was describing all these things that were going to happen to my body. And I was kind of freaked out. And I was like, well, aren't I just going to go back? And he's like, no, you will never go back. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, it's over. And I'm like, what do you mean it's over? How can you say that? Like, I'm not going to be a different person. And he's like, yes, you will. And he was right. And there was never a going back, and it changed me permanently in all kinds of mysterious, miraculous ways. And it's a very natural process that every woman goes through when you have children. And I think that it's a reinvention just to become a mom. And then once you're a mom, it's like, oh, okay, I'm not only a mom. I'm also a wife, or I'm a businesswoman, or I am, you're still your adolescent. You're still your little girl. Like, so I think the reinvention is more of like an integration of all the parts that we are into a totality so that you can become the best version of yourself, to be a great neighbor and a great parent and a great wife and a great so on and so forth. And It requires deep reflection. And if you really want to be at your best, you have to fuel your body with the highest quality fuel you can. And I do believe that light-filled food, food that has phytonutrients, vegetables and fruits, that are ethically sourced, locally sourced, regeneratively grown, that are nutrient dense, are the way to go. And you can't absorb those nutrients unless your gut is clear. And so you've got to do some detoxification. You've got to learn about the body's healing mechanisms and then learn how to optimize them. And I'm here for you if you want to learn about that. I mean, Step It Up is one level of conversation that leads to all these other conversations. And I've just been in deep inquiry most of my life about these topics, especially cellular health, metabolic health, human optimization, psychological well-being, spiritual advancement, so on and so forth. So this has just been like the soup that you've grown up in. And when people meet you, Penelope, they were like, oh my gosh, like, how does she know all that stuff? Like, how does she talk to me? Like, I mean, I don't know adults that know half of what she knows, and they're totally blown away, right? At the honesty, the directness, the wisdom. I mean, you sat down at breakfast the other day with a friend of ours, and you just went right to it, and he was like, oh my God. You asked him questions that were so profound and meaningful, like life-changing. So it's probably even hard for you to see the soup you've grown up in, right? Until you go out in the world and you realize how different you are than the people your age. And so I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I...
Don't be sorry. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. So
Yeah.
good.
So I do think a reinvention is in every woman's journey who's aware, conscious, awake, and open. Because you can never go back to sleep once you've reached a level of consciousness and awareness. It's like, oh, I will never forget how great being thin feels. I will never forget this level of vitality and energy that I cultivated. And so you never forget that, and you just want to go back to it.
If you made it to the end of this video, comment down below that you made it to the end of the video, because my mom loves to talk and she really gave you all her secrets today. And so thank you for sharing your secrets. If you're a woman and you're ready to lose the weight once and for all, and you're excited and you're happy and you're joyous and you're just ready, because that's what we want. We want joy. We want readiness, because if you're not ready, it's not going to work. So don't forget to click the link in the description if you want to join our group. And please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you all the time.